Hi, this is Andy Frith from Sheffield Advanced Motorcyclists, out with Steve Bennett on his sixth observed run, and we're just on the way to Bawtry here. And I put this in because this is just an indication of how far you've come along, Steve. Really nice lines, beautifully smooth, nice offside position here for the straight road, and then the bend coming up to the left, and really nicely taken. And when you get oncoming traffic, there's a nice smooth move over into position one, safety position, and then maintaining that for this slight right hander. And it's just really good, really smooth, beautiful to watch. And that you maintain that right throughout your ride. I mean, there's other things we're going to look at that you can develop in, but your positioning now and your safety positioning is really good. Nice gentle move over into one here for the brow of the hill up ahead. Really good. We're very pleased with that. A bit further along that road, just on the approach to Bawtry, this was a recurring theme throughout the ride, and it's all about letting things develop. Two cars up ahead, brake lights coming on, one's very close to the other, and then a pull over to the left from that Audi, and you swung right into the offside. Better that you'd have just slowed down and let that develop. This was interesting here. I made mention of it. The woman was right in the way of the driver, and therefore blocking his view of certainly me. Something that you maybe need to take account of. Another thing about letting develop. There, look, you've gone up to this thing, and then you're craning your neck to get a view around the outside. If you'd have just rolled off, we'd have been able to take that one. One example of when we can cross a white line there as well. Okay, this approach this roundabout just outside Austerfield, you decided on the offside lane. We're sort of like going straight ahead, but just slightly beyond 12 o'clock. I think the correct lane was here on the near side, and then slice. I think the right-hand turn on this roundabout is for the exit further round to the right. Just something for you to acknowledge on local knowledge if you ever get out this way again. Road surface here is very poor. You decided to go over to position one for the right-hand bend, and also to get out of the rough tarmac as best you could. But maybe a better line would have been this one I'm taking in position three. You've got a traffic separator, and in the 30s, the going for the position isn't as desperate. This was nice. Temporary traffic lights which we spotted a ways, and then going through them, and then you clock that the roadworks were coming to an end. You could physically see you move up into an overtaking position on this red hatchback. When it cleared, you were in the right position. Beautiful overtake. Really good. Nice shoulder check coming back in there as well. That was excellent. Anticipating a slow accelerating car. This wasn't so good. This was the tanker that was in front of that red car. Unfortunately, you'd gone out to overtake him. He was really doing 60 mile an hour. There's a junction on the left, and actually there's a vehicle in it as well. So you overtook on the junction, and you probably didn't see that vehicle. I certainly didn't until the junction revealed. But yeah, he wasn't on the overtake. This was where you could have done him. Just slipped up the offside there at the roundabout, lane of least resistance, and we could have potentially done that tanker. Instead, we actually had to wait, and we got stuck behind the tanker further up the road. So look out for opportunities like that when you can take the lane of least resistance. Tanker again. You'd spotted that tractor earlier, which was good. Tanker goes out for the overtake. You go with the tanker, stick a signal on, which is not necessary. But there's a car in front of the tanker. So you're actually following the tanker and blinded by it. And the tanker moves back in. You never know, there could have been an oncoming vehicle. So I would have waited until the tanker had cleared the tractor before I'd gone. Or at least being further back from the tanker just to be sure. And it was probably a speeding overtake that to get past. This was the car that was in front of the tanker. Nightmare overtake on this car. Here's the arrows saying get into the left, and he decides to do an overtake on the approach to a junction. And this is a perfect example of why we don't overtake in junctions, because the tractor decides to turn right. That car was lucky. He probably got past before he got there, but he should never have done that. This white van had pulled over for you, and quite rightly you were showing restraint before you going, but a nice thank you very much signal would have been good there to say to thank you, to thank the driver. Yep, sometimes we get it wrong. You decided to go to the offside, and I was about to follow you, and then it clears on the near side. So really, the near side would have been your better one, but you'd made your choice, and in fairness, it's a bit of a very minor criticism that. But if you can, try and really concentrate on your planning. So we're on to the dual carriageway at Scunthorpe here. Zip past these two up ahead. There's another vehicle in the near side. And we're not doing 70 yet, but you decide to move back into the near side. Nothing pushing us behind. You can see in my mirrors there's no vehicles behind. And you have to come back out again to overtake it. Much cleaner when there's no pressure from behind. You can just stay in the offside lane there and not need to move your bike about. This was coming on the road on the way to Caister. This little Renault here. We had some fun with this one. You had a look at him first, started accelerating, and then decided to get out of it instead of doing your L shape. He was indicating for you all the time to come past, and eventually you're able to do it. And you give him a hand signal, but you've got that oncoming vehicle. I would have rather had both hands on the handlebars. On the A46 here towards Lincoln, traffic coming to a standstill, and it turns out there's a vehicle turning right into a driveway. Then you decide to go. Understand why you wanted to, because it's all slow moving, but how did you know that these last two cars weren't also going to turn into the same driveway? They might have been together, So I wouldn't have gone. I would have just waited until you were sure that the driveways were clear. Okay, this is another overtake. All about getting into the overtake position. And here you did. Nicely through. Slight bend to the right. Assists you with your view. And a nice overtake at the correct speed. Really nicely done that. That's one that was spot on. Absolutely spot on. This is all about moving into the overtake position. Here we've got advance warning of a crossroads, so and a right-hand bend that you're suspecting that the vehicle is slightly slow. So after these oncomers and the crossroads, if you'd have been a bit further up, boof, we could have been on that one and done it because we've got all this time here. But you hesitated, and I don't think you were close enough to go out and have a look and affect the overtake. And then when you did do it, back to the old things on the offside again. So you've really got to check. You see, you started going out, and straight away there's a driveway there and another one there with hedges. So this is really important why you should move out L shape and check before you start accelerating. It was a good ride, very good.